Hey, it's Tyler, and welcome to Rayclast. This is Path of Exile. Path of Exile is a fairly new in development, in the grand scheme of things, ARPG by the guys over at Grinding Gear Games. I've been playing this on and off since around September of 2011, and they've improved it a ton. They've gone really far with this. They've done so much work. So much optimization, lots of new features, UI updates, they've put a lot of love into this. A lot of love and a lot of time, and, well, I'm here to tell you that they should be rewarded for it, because these guys are awesome. So, as you can already tell, Path of Exile has a very dark, very grim graphic style, similar to Diablo 2, I suppose. It's very grimy, sort of, you know, gritty, and just plain depressing a lot of times. It actually reminds me a lot of Demon's Souls and Dark Souls, because the whole world is sort of enveloped in this very heavy veil of depression and hopelessness, with little glimpses of light here and there as you continue pushing through the story. They've recently added voice acting to the game, which is something it didn't originally have, to a lot of the characters that give you quests, to all the player characters. As you see here, I'm a witch, and that's actually a really good feature because the voice acting isn't bad at all. Impressive to see just how quickly they're making this game very high quality. So I'm playing a witch. There are 6 classes, sorry. 6 classes because there are 3 attributes. There is strength, dexterity, and intelligence. There is 1 class that is purely each attribute. As a witch, I am pure intelligence. And there are 3 hybrid classes, that being strength and intelligence, dexterity, intelligence, strength, dexterity. So, the interesting thing about this game is the classes are more of an archetype and not as much of a restriction. Now, there is no class restricted equipment. As a witch, if I wanted to, I could find a greatsword and equip it immediately, as long as I had the necessary stats for it, which early on I should have the stats fairly easily. Obviously later on I find like a high level greatsword, I'm probably not going to be able to equip it because I'm not going to have the strength, because as a witch I'm not building strength. But you get the idea. There is no class restriction as far as items goes. I'm taking a lot of damage from these guys. This is a new character, obviously. I have another that I've played on for quite a while, a level 36 witch, but it's in Legacy League now, so I decided to just make a new one. The builds you can do in this game are very fun. Just have a lot of fun making one that seems interesting. My previous witch is... she dual wields wands and is focused on crit and fire damage, so just tons of fire all over the place all the time. Firestorms, just all kinds of crazy stuff. It's so much fun. And you can really experiment a lot with this game, but you can also screw your character over a lot and just not be able to progress anymore. Respecs are very rare. We'll get into why that is in a moment. For now, I'm progressing through the terraces, trying to find the medicine chest, which is the first quest that you'll actually willfully take after you get to the first encampment. This is just, I mean, like 15 minutes into the game. This isn't something, there's no spoilers or anything. Ooh, an armorer's scrap. We'll talk about those in a minute as well. As you can see, I'm not dropping any specifically, you know, grand items yet. Very early in the game. Constantly chat going on, people buying and selling, and you can turn it off if you want. It's not that big of a deal. Ah! I definitely need to spec into some mana regen. I forgot how quickly spells can eat it up. So as soon as I level up, we'll talk about the skill system and how that works. You may notice in the bottom left I have these flasks. The flasks work in an interesting way. They are infinite, essentially. They have charges. When you drink one, that expends a certain number of charges, and as you kill enemies, it refills charges. So you don't buy potions necessarily that you actually consume. These flasks will stay with you. And in classic ARPG style, everything is randomly generated as far as the loot, the layout of everything goes, the unique enemies and things like that. So as you can see, this flask is actually magic. It has a suffix and prefix on it that do various things. This is actually a really impressive, pretty nice mana flask. I'd like to have a health flask with stuff like that on it. So, we're just about to level up, so that's going to be exciting in a minute. I'll tell you why. Ooh, Scrolls of Wisdom. That equals identification. Definitely need to identify items, but Scrolls of Wisdom are fairly important to keep, so don't just be using them on random items. Just use them on items you really want to know what they are, otherwise it's best to just sell them. And you may notice there's no gold dropping. There is no money in this game in the traditional sense. Currency is different. We're just about to go into all that finally, as soon as I get safe to where I can go to the level up screen. Come on, everybody stop rushing me. I just want to level up. What is your problem? No! We got this. It's gonna be alright. We got this. No! Bad. Whoa, where did he go? Oh my gosh. I hit him with a fireball so hard he disappeared. I don't want to die. Are we? Nope, we're not. Come on. Get it? Get it? Alright. Now, prepare to have a massive aneurysm because this is the passive skill tree. A lot of people compare it to the sphere grid from Final Fantasy X, which is fairly accurate, but this is more straightforward. Gosh, I just want to... Yeah. Go away. Jeez.
Satisfying indeed.
Yeah. Okay, so, skill tree. Every character starts, every class starts at a different point in this skill tree, and there are lots of these are all passives. This thing is massive. It's freaking huge. So, yeah, as you can tell, these are all places where other classes would actually start. As a witch, this is where I begin. So right now, I've already put a point into mana regeneration. I could choose spell damage, or I could go into more maximum mana, or a big boost of intelligence. I'm going to go for spell damage for right now. Ooh, a unique. So, here's the skill system. This is my equipment, very impressive. I'm decked out. Not at all. When you pick up things, you'll notice they have colored sockets. The skills, another sort of Final Fantasy comparison, the skills are a lot like materia. These are how you get actives, skill gems. You socket them into appropriately colored sockets on items. Most of these items will have sockets, not just weapons. So you can put, you know, weaponized items like this freezing pulse. If I had a piece of armor that I wanted to put it in, I could. It doesn't have to be on a weapon. These you'll mostly be getting from quests when you turn in quests. You'll get them as rewards, but you can also find them dropped, although it's fairly rare. Oh, and another thing to show you, these items with these sort of yellowish names, these are currency items. This is what you use as currency. As you can see, all of them actually have a use. This will improve the quality on armor, quality. As you can see, well, this doesn't have quality. This flask should, right? No? Well, quality is sort of a base percentage increase in the stats of an item. So this will just improve an armor across the board that I use it on. These are shards for an orb of transmutation. When I get 20 shards, it becomes an orb. These are fragments for scrolls of wisdom. When I get 5 fragments, it becomes a scroll. There are a million types of orbs in this game. Those are the main types of currency items you'll find. They all do different things, and that's how you buy and sell. When you buy from an NPC, you're not paying them in gold, you're paying them in these items. So it'll be like, you want this wand? Well, give me an orb of alchemy for it. And that makes it to where currency is very valuable to you. Because, oh man, because currency has intrinsic value to you as a player. They do things, it isn't just gold. And a lot of ARPGs, oh, I'm gonna die, dang it. Gold is fairly meaningless. I mean, the only thing you use gold for is buying stuff. But in this game, buying and selling has to do with these currency items. Here, we'll see. If I go to purchase, I can buy all these things, but they cost, you know, they cost items, not gold. So, ooh, 3 orbs of transmutation for that flask. So each of these different types of orbs, scraps, they all do different things. An Orb of Augmentation will add a prefix or a suffix to a magical item. An Orb of Alteration will sort of re-roll a magic item. An Orb of Transmutation will turn any white into a blue. And so on and so forth. An Orb of Alchemy, I believe, turns a white into a yellow, which is a rare. Orb of Chance can do all kinds of things. There are so many types of items in this game, it is ridiculous. You'll constantly be finding new things, and they all have very cool item art. What we're going to do is, I want some energy shield. I really want that, but there's no way I can afford that. This game is kind of modular in the way that it works. As you can see, those gems that I have are blue. That means they're intelligence gems. There are also green, which are dexterity, and red, which are strength. Now, I can use any color of gems, but you get the idea that scaling with intelligence, I would want those because I'm a witch. I'm a pure int class. We're going to go back into here. That is sort of the safe zone. Every act has one of those towns. You can find these teleporters that will allow you faster travel around the world, which is actually quite large. And as you progress, you'll find optional areas, bosses, all kinds of stuff. You don't want to pick up every item you see on the ground because, as you can tell, you have a fairly limited inventory space. Mostly what you're saving it for are magic and above items that you can either, that you want, or that you can sell for currency items, or pieces of currency items, which are very important. So, we're going to attempt to not die this time. And keep going. Goat hide buckler. So yes, the item art in this game is one of my favorite parts. I mean, as you keep going through a playthrough, you'll constantly be seeing more and more very impressive item art for almost everything. Weapons, armors, just trinkets. It all looks really cool, and it does show on your character. They've put a lot of love into the aesthetic of this game with this dark, grimy, very hopeless look, but also having some very pretty items indeed. So that's cool. Got me a scroll. We're going to keep pushing through this area and attempt to die less, which would be kind of nice. I'd like to
need
find
more mana.
That enemy again. We're going to use this flask and destroy dudes. The boss fights in this game are very impressive, very difficult oftentimes, depending on what kind of class you are. And as I said before, there are all kinds of fun builds you can try. You can gimp your character if you're not careful, but there is still quite a bit of room for messing around. And as I talked about respecs earlier, respecs are not normally offered. Here's how it works. You can see this, it says 0 respec points left. Every now and then, when you complete quests and stuff, you'll get a respec point, and there is a very valuable currency item called an Orb of Regret, and if you use one of those, it gives you a respec point. 1 point can be spent to undo your last change. So a full respec, right now would cost me 2 respec points. So as you level up, full respecs just don't happen. You're level 30, you're gonna need 30 respec points to get rid of everything, and that's not gonna happen. You're not gonna get that many. You'll be lucky to have like 5 or 6 by the time you're level 30. So, this is a free-to-play game. Oh yes, Mervile is a difficult boss. This is a free-to-play game, so it does have a cash shop, but it's very fair. You have lots of character slots. Wow, that was pathetic. Yes, lots of character slots when you first start out. Die, unique monster! Thank you. It's definitely not pay to win. I mean, it's more about, stash tabs, convenience stuff, which is the right way to do it. Aesthetic stuff to change your look and the look of your abilities and stuff like that, it's actually really cool. And convenience stuff. You can't just buy awesome items. So it's very fair. Some might argue it's almost a bit too fair, that they have to make money somehow, but they've had lots of donations because of this model, and I feel like it's going to be sustainable because this is just such a good game. It's really, really fun, and you don't have to pay a dime to get, like, the full amount out of it, but I would definitely recommend that if you're going to be playing it for a while, you show them some support, because they're really nice guys. They listen to their feedback, and they've put so much love and work into this game that it's just ridiculous. It's a little slow at the start, yes. It's not really grindy per se, it's just you've got to get through this area and you're pretty weak at the beginning. So I'm gonna keep trying to go through. So much random generation every time you go into new areas. They're randomly laid out, procedurally generated enemies with funny names sometimes, and
I need more mana.
oh man. And you'll die a lot. It's not the easiest game in the world. It's actually quite difficult. Right now, this is the easiest difficulty. It does have the Diablo style of difficulty, to where when you actually beat the acts, basically beat the game, it puts you back at the Twilight Strand, which is the starting area, in the next difficulty up. So you will be completing this game multiple times, and increasingly higher difficulties, and it does get tough. My level 36 Witch is most of the way through the second difficulty, doing fairly well. She's actually really well built. I was proud of myself. She's very powerful. But I decided with this huge update since the last time I played, which was a few months ago, that it would be a good idea to just make an entirely new character. There are tons of weapon types, tons of skills, some really neat combinations of skills that you can do, and there are also these passive sort of modifier gems that you can get. You socket them into these different links. You'll see these are separate, but you'll find items like this where these links are actually, they're attached, they're linked. These sockets are. And the more sockets and the more linked sockets an item has, it becomes very valuable. It might be worth it just to equip this for now, even though it's armor, which is the strength, and evasion, which is dexterity as far as defense goes. The intelligence version is energy shield, but we're going to equip that because I'm very squishy right now, and it's not good. I'm not going to identify anything else because I only have 6 scrolls. Save those for if I get a nice wand or a circlet or something, or a robe. But yes, tons of item variety. I mean, just a ridiculous amount, all with very unique appearances. The item system is pretty cool. There's, of course, you know, multiple different rarities. You have whites, you have blues, which are magic, you have rares, which are yellow, you have uniques, which are sort of a brownish color. Uniques are very cool. And overall, a ton of content for absolutely nothing. This game, in my opinion, would be worth a price to just pay flat out, like $20, I would say, be a pretty good price, I think. It's not super long right yet, but it's getting there. That was a very depressing chest. As you can see, my fireball gem is going to level up soon as you kill enemies. Even if it isn't with the gem, you just have to kill them with it equipped. They gain experience and will eventually level up, and you can choose to level them up. They don't do it automatically. They used to, but they can actually require more stats and levels than you have for their next level, so they allow you to choose when you level it up. Because before, they were having problems with, I mean, this was like a year ago, but they were having problems with gems.
Satisfying
gems being
indeed.
Faster leveling than people, so it would unequip it automatically because it leveled up for them. And that's not supposed to happen. Another life flask.
I need more mana.
That'd be nice to have, just in case. It's a white, but that's okay. Oh dear. Some very cool spells. I really like the lightning in this game. Lightning spells are very fun, but they have a very large damage range. They can do very little or a lot more than pretty much any other element, but it's very random. I definitely like Firestorm. Firestorm is a really fun spell. A lot of my other Witch relied on Firestorm, a decoy totem, and some really fun stuff like focus charges to get my spell crit up a whole bunch and just absolutely destroy dudes. Let's go to the title island really quickly and have some fun. This game, I wouldn't say it's grindy. You can definitely progress very efficiently without having to just continually go through an area and grind it out and try and get a couple more levels. It does get very difficult, and I'm just not playing particularly well right now, but it does indeed get difficult. However, it isn't what I would call grindy. Yes, it is made by Grinding Gear Games, but do not let that deter you, har har. It's just fine. In terms of pacing, and in terms of content with a variety being delivered to you. Oh, Vine Circlet! And this is why I'm saving these scrolls. Let's see, Vine Circlet of Plunder. Ooh, increased rarity. Unfortunately, it does have only red sockets. I'd like to have more blue sockets. If I had like a chromatic orb, I could re-roll the colors, but on such a low-level item, it is not worth it spending a chromatic orb for it. Just not worth it at all. Save your currency items for a while. Definitely save them. They are worth a lot more individually than the items you would be using them on in low levels. You'll replace those items fairly quickly, but the currency objects you will not be replacing. Often people in chat will buy stuff for you, or from you, if you have those items. So I'll be like, you know, I'll give you this awesome wand for a chaos orb, and stuff like that. You'll see stuff like that all the time. So I really like the whole currency item system. I think it's really cool. I think it's a very, very neat way to do things. Level up! Fireball is now more powerful. I'd like to level myself up if you guys would quit trying to beat me with rocks. Okay. So I could get more intelligence, more spell damage. As you see, there are these large passives that give you all kinds of stuff that you'll be... Obviously, like this, Lord of the Dead, that would be if I had zombies, ghosts, skeleton, gems that I would raise, so that would be something I would get if I was focusing on summoning as a witch. This is, you know, I use stuff like this on my crit witch, lots of fire damage, crit chance, area of effect, increase power charges, all this kind of stuff. And also wand stuff, because I was dual-wielding wands, which is just silly, but really fun. So what we're going to do is... we're going to get some more mana. We're having some mana issues. La-da-da. Shabby jerkin. No, I'm good, I think. Yeah. I'll go ahead and get these for 2 reasons. One, because I do need the extra armor, and because I can equip that. Go! Yes, that's a good crowd control skill. In a short range, everything in front of me will be frozen and shattered to pieces with that. Pretty awesome. Oh no! Okay. You will be finding a good amount of content, a good amount of challenge, fun bosses, unique aesthetic, lots of items, lots of enemies, variety out the butt. I mean, you've got nothing to lose. Just give it a shot. It's free. If you don't like it, just uninstall it. You didn't lose anything except for a little bit of time. If you do like it, well, consider giving them a bit of a donation. It's worth it. There's so much to do when it comes to just continually getting loot, and who doesn't like to do that? I mean, come on, seriously, it's loot. How can you not? So, hopefully by now you've decided maybe you should head over to pathofexile.com and give them your patronage. This has been Path of Exile, and I'll see you guys next time.